I got involved in the design build program because, well, one, I wanted to create something real instead of just on paper.
I really wanted to know how things went together.
I guess I wanted to feel more connected to the actual building of something.
I like to work with my hands. I don't like being stuck somewhere.
They sent me a letter when I was on internship, said you had two choices. You had design build or you had the computer studio. Well, after working for about 6 months on a computer, I didn't want to see a screen again for a while.
I heard someone call our project ambitious when they saw the design.
It's going to be a huge challenge. It's a very complex site. It's only a small structure. It's a really exciting project. It has got great benefit to the community. What our structure is going to be doing is be an observation deck. We conceive it as being some form of cantilevered structure, may extend up to about 20 feet. It's open to your design decisions.
We ended up pouring concrete to rest this on, using steel to support it, cantilevering 20 feet out over the White River, and then topping it off with nice finished materials of steel and wood, mostly cedar. So that turned out very nice.
I think the client situation was maybe a little bit different than I expected just because it was a committee.
It's very important that you know just a tiny bit about people on the other side also. And people on the other side are headed by Marge Ziegler, who's a large philanthropist in this city, but is the ex-president, too, back at Ball State University, Dr. John Proust, as well as Ed Ball.
I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I mean, I think that groups can do well together, but it was just something different than I've ever experienced.
I mean, we had a whole committee of clients, and that was interesting how we had to present to them and relate our ideas to them and get across what we wanted to do, and them in turn getting across what they wanted to do, so we could create something like this and everybody is happy.
Got something here. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
It looked really great when it was all sketchy, kind of on the board, kind of loose, and now it's so defined. It's just too defined.
I think we need FEMA's input big time.
What are we expressing through our architecture is a question that you all should ask yourself.
Simplicity was really brought about in Lisa and ours, like simplify and to really deal with the fact that this is a design build studio and we are in fact going to have to build it, and it is going to be a fast process. I mean, 3 months from now it's supposed to be finished.
And what I want to see on Monday is just sketches of how this all comes together, starting with circulation, starting with flow. You know it all. I'm not going to reiterate it. So what I want to see is those kind of diagrams coming forward and notions of experience.
I think it's important to be involved with construction, especially early on. For instance, myself, I haven't had an extreme amount of construction experience in the past, and so this gives me a real opportunity to get that hands-on experience.
I had no experience with power tools prior to this engagement.
Tools, circular saws, cutting dimensional lumber and plywood, dimensional lumber. If I say something that I talk in my own terminology, we have our jargon in this business, and that's part of getting you acquainted with that today. Everything needs to be square and level and plumb, okay? In building a house and building a deck or whatever, because if you don't, If we don't pay attention to the laws of nature and the laws of gravity and make everything nice and square and level and plumb, when you get to the end, it's not all going to fit together.
I think that's something we've all learned. I think there was only a handful of people, not even that much, that had had any kind of construction experience or small experience with power tools, and so that's been a big thing. Like, I have a larger vocabulary about tools now and all the different saws there are out there and how to change the blade height and all that business, which is actually really good to know.
I didn't know anything at all about concrete or how to pour it or what, I mean, I guess I knew what forms looked like, but I never really thought about putting them together. Or what the, how the rebar got tied together. Those little things are really terrific, and those little tools are just so slick. It's like, wow, who invented this thing? And so I think that was one of the most fun. It was also one of the most exhausting things for me, was making all the concrete. I'm not going to do that again in a hurry if I have to.
I don't think it turned out how I expected because I had no idea what to expect. So I think I'm happy with it overall, though.
The entire process is a learning process and a creative process all the way through. The forms ended up a lot like we hoped they would in terms of shape and appearance, but in my mind, I don't think I ever actually saw us getting this far with it.
It's been a good experience. It's taught me a whole lot about a lot of things that aren't traditionally things I would learn in school.
I really learned a lot about connections and details and tectonics. And the second thing I really learned a lot about is coordination, coordinating with other team members, coordinating with committee on the design. We broke down into separate roles within the studio, and how we had to coordinate the schedule with this cost estimating and the documentation and whatnot. So I would say just working with the materials and learning how to coordinate such a project.
I think the idea of the town gown, I mean, we have really brought this together and plan to stay together on over the next, whatever it is, 5 to 10 years on all this. And I think the idea of connecting governmental agencies, non-governmental agencies, NGOs, and the university, as far as on a major scale, other than little tiny things once in a while, what we potentially do over the next 5 to 10 years with this could change on how all these groups look at each other and how they interrelate and how they work. And I think that needs to be stressed in here too. I mean, this is a good partnership.
When you ask why we do this sort of thing, I want you to understand that our first motivation, the thing that we do first, second, and last in that college, is we educate future professionals. And the reason we do things like this is because we think it contributes to the education of the students. And the students will tell you that when they finish projects like this. This is one of the classes they will remember for years. As one of the students put it so nicely, standing out here on this site, he said, it's different putting two boards together in actuality than putting two boards together on paper. And these students will be much better architects because they've engaged in this project.
I think the design-build process is an important process.
I think that all the students should have to take this class.
I would definitely recommend it because it's the one chance within the curriculum that you really get hands-on experience.
I'm going to take away the satisfaction of a job well done. feel like I did a good job. I feel like the whole class did a good job.
Yeah, I think it looks great.